Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sunando Devnath. In this video, I am teaching physics for class 8 ICSE. This is the first chapter of physics, matter, lecture number 3. Prior to this lecture, I have already uploaded 2 lectures for this chapter. Lecture 1 and lecture 2 have already been uploaded. So kindly go to the playlist section of my videos and you will find the other 2 lectures which have been uploaded before. Watch them and come to this lecture. So in this lecture we will be discussing the topic change of state. We know that there are 3 states of matter, right? Solids, liquids and gases, which I had talked about in the previous lecture. Now we can convert one state to the other state. That means we can convert the solid state to the liquid state and the liquid state to the gaseous state. We can even do the opposite. The gaseous state can be converted into liquid state and the liquid state can be converted into solid state. That is also possible. And do you know that certain substances can be directly converted from solid state to gaseous state? That means there is no liquid state in the middle. You can directly convert the solid to the gas, and the gaseous state can be directly converted to the solid state in certain substances. So this all things we will cover up in this lecture, and we are also going to cover the important definitions which are very frequently asked in your school exams. So everything. So let's get started. You know the process. You have to take a notebook, you have to have a pen in your hand, and you have to start taking down the notes as well as understand the concepts really well. I will explain as well as provide notes simultaneously. Now again I'm repeating, if you have not watched the previous lectures, then go watch them first and then come to the third lecture. You will understand better. So let's start the topic change of state. What do we mean by change of state? Means it's a very easy term to understand कि state का change होना. Change of state means one state of matter, maybe solid, will change to another state of matter. So let's write down the definition. The process, so start writing along with me. The process of change from one state to another state, one state to another state, either, अब ये मैं explain करूँगा, पहले लिख लो, either by absorption, or rejection of heat, at a constant temperature. ये भी बहुत important है. I will explain what is the significance of writing at a constant temperature. Is called change of state. Now you see, when you read the definition, you will understand that change of state सिर्फ इतना लिखना काफ़ी नहीं है कि when one state is changing into another state, this process is known as change of state. No. Here you have to also write in your definition that either heat is absorbed or heat is rejected, means given out. And that also happens at a constant temperature. We will understand what are the meanings of these 2 parts of the definition. What is the meaning of either by absorption or rejection, and what is the meaning of that happens at a constant temperature. So basically this part is clear now. Process of change of one state to another. Okay, let us consider ice, which is the solid form of water, isn't it? Ice is solid. Okay, now if we want to convert the solid ice into water, which is liquid state, which is the liquid state, so that means I want to convert the solid state to liquid state. So what I need to do, or what this ice needs to take from the surroundings, this ice needs to take away heat. क्या लेगा ये surrounding से? Heat absorb करेगा, है ना? Heat absorb करेगा. This ice will absorb some heat from the surroundings and then it will convert into water. Suppose you have ice and you don't want the ice to melt into water. What do? You keep it in the refrigerator. You keep it in the refrigerator, which is very, very cold. And what happens over there? There is no heat in the surroundings because ice is kept in the refrigerator. The refrigerator is very cold, so there is no heat. So ice cannot absorb heat from the surroundings and it will not melt. But if it is left open, if you keep the ice open in your room at some place, maybe on your table, there is enough heat in the surroundings and the ice will absorb the heat and it will melt. And if you heat the ice on your gas stove, then it will even melt faster because तुम तो वहाँ heat supply कर रहे हो, gas जला दिए हो और heat दे रहे हो ice को, it will even convert into water, liquid water faster. That means this ice has absorbed some heat to change its state from solid to liquid. Now consider you have water which is in liquid state and you want to convert it into ice, solid state. Means now you want liquid state to get converted into solid state. The opposite one, the opposite of the previous thing. This time what you need to do, you need to remove the heat from the water, or we can say that water needs to reject the heat from itself. ये water ice में तभी convert होगा जब वो उसके अंदर जो heat है उस heat को बाहर surroundings में दे दे. How can we do that? We can keep it in the refrigerator. When we keep this water in the deep freezer, that means the top portion of the refrigerator where it is extremely cold, there what happens, the water will give out its heat to the refrigerator, to the surroundings of the refrigerator, and this water will lose its heat and it will convert into ice. That means this water will reject heat. So you see both of these examples now. In the first case, the ice absorbed the heat to change its state. In the second case, the liquid water rejected heat to change its state. So either of the two things must happen when there is any change of state. So that is what we have written in the definition. The process of change from one state to another state, either by absorption, या तो heat absorb करेगा वो substance, or by rejection of heat, या तो वो heat reject करेगा, lose करेगा, emit करेगा, radiate करेगा. Okay. Now, what is the significance of at a particular temperature? एक fixed temperature पर ही ये होता है. Understand what is the meaning of this. Okay. Now, you can better understand it with an example. You will better understand with an example. Suppose you have a beaker, right? You have a beaker, and in this beaker, what do you have? You have some pieces of ice. You have some cubes of ice. Let us assume that these are cubes of ice, solid ice, and also you have a thermometer dipping into these blocks of ice. Okay, you have a thermometer dipping into the blocks of ice now, and this, okay, now what this thermometer will read which temperature? Assume करो तो ये मैंने ice में डाल दिया है, तो ice का temperature 0 degree Celsius होता है. So the ice will read 0 degree Celsius, the temperature of the ice. Now what happens? You apply some heat. Maybe you keep a Bunsen burner below, and this is kept on a stand. So you start giving heat to it. You will see that ice will start melting. The moment you start giving heat, the ice starts melting. Melt करना मतलब पिघल रहा है. The ice is changing into liquid water, and gradually this entire ice will change into, this entire ice, बोलो किसमें change हो जाएगा? This entire ice will change into liquid water. लेकिन you will be astonished to see कि the entire duration, the entire interval of time during which this ice was converting into liquid water, the temperature will remain 0 degrees Celsius only. Yes, it is shocking. The temperature will not rise. Even if you are supplying the heat, the temperature, which is 0 degrees Celsius, will not rise. During which time it will not rise? During the entire time in which the ice was changing into liquid water. ये जो पूरा duration, maybe of 5 minutes or 3 minutes, जब पूरा बर्फ liquid में change हो जाएगा, when the entire ice is converted into liquid water and there is no ice left to be converted into water anymore, only after that time the temperature will start increasing. Are you understanding what I am saying? जब पूरा ice water में convert हो गया है, उसके बाद ही टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज करना स्टार्ट होगा. उसके पहले तक हीट सप्लाई करने के बावजूद टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज नहीं कर रहा था, सिर्फ स्टेट चेंज हो रहा था, टेम्परेचर चेंज नहीं हो रहा था. तो स्टेट जब चेंज हो रहा था तो वो कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर पर हो रहा था. कांस्टेंट मींस फिक्स्ड टेम्परेचर पर हो रहा था. सो दिस आइस वाज चेंजिंग इनटू वाटर एट अ कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर. सो दैट टेम्परेचर was 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस इन दिस केस. कांस्टेंट टेम्परेचर जब आइस भी था 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस, और जब वो पूरा लिक्विड में चेंज हुआ उस मुहूर्त में वो भी 0 डिग्री सेल्सियस है. उसके बाद फिर टेम्परेचर राइज करेगा जब स्टेट चेंज नहीं करेगा. लेकिन जब स्टेट चेंज हुआ आइस से वाटर तो टेम्परेचर फिक्स्ड था. दिस इज नॉट ओनली इन द केस ऑफ आइस चेंजिंग इनटू वाटर. इट कैन बी ऑब्जर्व व्हेन वाटर इज चेंजिंग इनटू आइस, when wax is even melting, or even you are freezing a wax. It is applicable for any kind of substance. Whenever you are changing a state from one state to the another state, it must take place at a constant temperature. Okay, we will also study that specific names are given to this constant temperature. If it is melting, we will call that temperature melting point. If it is freezing, we will call that fixed temperature as freezing point. All those things we will study later on. But what I want you to understand right now itself is the meaning of this word, at a constant temperature. So I think you have understood कि ये constant temperature लिखना क्यों ज़रूरी है हमें अपने definition में, right? So change of state का definition हमें समझ में आ गया. Now we will study all the different kinds of changes that we can do in the state of matter. Now let us draw a flow chart, and this flow chart comes in your exam also too often. Okay, so draw this: solid, liquid, as I am doing you can draw, and gas, right? These are the three states of matter which we have written. We can put it in a box. You can use your ruler to draw this perfect rectangles. I am doing freehand, so my diagram may not be perfect, but you can draw better than me. So solid, liquid and gas, these are the three states of matter, right? We know solid can be converted into liquid, just like ice can be converted into liquid water. So this is one thing possible. Now liquid can also convert into its gaseous state. Okay, we know that if we heat water, it will start boiling and it will change into steam. भाप बोलते हैं ना, भाप, you know steam engine, तो वो भाप निकलता है ना. कुकर जब सीटी बजती है तो कुकर के सीटी से क्या निकलता है? स्टीम, भाप निकलता है ना. यू मस्ट हैव सीन ऑल्सो. सो दैट भाप, दैट स्टीम इज द gaseous form of water. So you can convert the liquid water into gas. What you can do, you can convert the liquid into solid state. It can be for any substance. I am only giving the example of water. Like you can convert the liquid water into solid ice. कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. इवन यू कैन कन्वर्ट द gaseous form of water, means steam और water vapor को हम liquid में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं. ओके, कर सकते हैं. वी विल ऑल्सो स्टडी दैट इन डिटेल, कैसे करेंगे, जिसको कंडेंसेशन बोलते हैं. ओके, सो नाउ ये तो चार चीज़ होंगे ही. सो लेट अस राइट डाउन द नेम ऑफ दीज प्रोसेसेस. सॉलिड चेंजिंग इनटू लिक्विड. जब कोई सॉलिड, मान लो उसको तुम बोलो आइस ले लो, आइस इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू लिक्विड वाटर, तो उसको क्या बोलेंगे? प्रोसेस का नाम मेल्टिंग बोलते हैं ना, पिघल रहा है, बर्फ पिघल रहा है. सॉलिड इज चेंजिंग इनटू लिक्विड स्टेट, सो इट इज नोन एज मेल्टिंग. एंड ड्यूरिंग मेल्टिंग व्हाट हैपेंस? हीट जब पिघलता है तो सॉलिड क्या करेगा? हीट एब्जॉर्ब करेगा, है ना. सो हीट इज एब्जॉर्ब्ड, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. द सॉलिड विल एब्जॉर्ब हीट एंड कन्वर्ट इनटू लिक्विड स्टेट. नाउ let us study the opposite. Liquid changing into solid. What will happen? Liquid changing into solid को हम कहते हैं freezing. Freezing मतलब जमना. पानी को हमने फ्रिज में जमने के लिए रख दिया, कहते हैं ना, मतलब लिक्विड को हमने सॉलिड में कन्वर्ट करना है. That is freezing. And in this process, heat is rejected. Heat क्या होता है? Given out, rejected, है ना. Who will reject the heat? The liquid will reject the heat and it will convert into the solid state. Now let us see this side. Liquid changing into gas. we call this process vaporization because it is converting into vapor. Vaporization. Okay, vaporization को boiling भी बोलते हैं. You can also call this boiling. Okay, now in this process heat is absorbed. The liquid will absorb heat or it will reject heat. पानी को अगर मुझे उबालना है और उसे गैस में चेंज करना है, स्टीम में चेंज करना है, तो पानी में मैं हीट सप्लाई करूंगा, हीट वो पानी एब्जॉर्ब करेगी, है ना. सो हीट इज absorbed by the liquid. Very easy to understand. And what happens in the opposite? When gas is changing into liquid, we call that process condensation. Condensation. And in this case, heat is rejected. Okay. So what is the example where you can see condensation in your practical life? You see, take a glass of cold water. A glass lo, steel ka glass lo, take a steel glass that is very easily available at your home, and pour some extremely cold water, pour some chilled water in it. Chilled water, you understand? Chilled water. Chilled water means fridge ka pani, ekdam thanda, fridge ka pani. Ice water, you can even put some cubes of ice. If you don't get chilled water, you can even put some cubes of ice in the water, and then observe it. After 15 seconds, 20 seconds, you observe the outside of the glass, you observe the outer wall of the glass. Glass के बाहर देखोगे कि पानी की छोटी 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 बूंदे यहाँ पर आ गई है. ग्लास के आउटर वॉल में, बाहरी वॉल में छोटी 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 बूंदे इस ग्लास पे आ गई हैं. देखोगे very minute droplets. Okay, from where these droplets came? ये तो लिक्विड, ये जो ड्रॉपलेट्स हैं ये किस स्टेट में है? Obviously these droplets are in liquid state. तो ये लिक्विड स्टेट में जो छोटे छोटे ड्रॉपलेट्स हैं इस ग्लास के ऊपर कहाँ से आ गए? These droplets are actually the water vapor which changed into the liquid state. कहाँ का वाटर वेपर? इस एयर, इसकी चारों तरफ क्या था? एयर था ना. ग्लास के चारों तरफ क्या है? एयर है. और उस एयर में क्या है? वाटर वेपर है. दूसरे गैसेस भी हैं, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड भी है, ऑक्सीजन भी है, नाइट्रोजन भी है, और वाटर वेपर भी है एयर में. हमारे हवा में, एयर में तो वाटर वेपर भी है ना, नमी रहती ही है, और रेनी सीजन में तो ज़्यादा वाटर वेपर रहता है. तो ये जो वाटर वेपर जो हमारे एयर में ऑलरेडी प्रेजेंट है, दिस वाटर वेपर इज द गैसियस फॉर्म ऑफ वाटर. पानी का ही गैसियस फॉर्म है. वो वाटर वेपर जब इस ग्लास के कांटेक्ट में आया तो क्या हुआ ना, उसने हीट अपना रिजेक्ट कर दिया, क्योंकि ग्लास बहुत ठंडा है और ये वाटर वेपर अपना हीट सारा ग्लास को दे दिया और अपना हीट रिजेक्ट कर दिया. हीट निकल गया वाटर वेपर से, और हीट रिजेक्ट करने के बाद ये जो वाटर वेपर है जो गैसियस फॉर्म में था वो किस में कन्वर्ट हो गया? लिक्विड फॉर्म में, और इस ग्लास पे जाके बैठ गया. दैट वाटर वेपर कन्वर्टेड इनटू लिक्विड एंड attached, sticks to the glass, and this process is known as condensation. When gas is converted into liquid by rejecting heat, so this water vapor rejected heat and converted into liquid state. So this is condensation. So we can observe this at our homes also. So I think this is very easy to understand. Now two more processes, two more phenomena are there in the change of state. You can also convert solid directly into gas, but this happens only in certain substances, not in all substances. Certain substances, we will study that. What are those substances? Some examples of those substances which upon heating will directly convert into gas. And this process is known as sublimation. What is this process known as? Repeat after me. You have to speak. Sublimation. Yes, sublimation. So sublimation is that process in which a solid state converts into its gaseous state without being converted into liquid state. Liquid state में convert नहीं होता है, directly solid से gas में change हो जाता है. अच्छा, ये तब होता है जब ये solid state heat absorb करती है, heat को जब absorb करेगी. In labs, in chemistry labs, you have a chemical ammonium chloride. What is that chemical? Ammonium chloride. Okay, so that chemical ammonium chloride is a white colored chemical, very easily available in chemistry labs. This is one of the examples of such substances which upon heating will directly convert into its gaseous state. Alright, so similarly you have examples like iodine crystals, like camphor. Camphor matlab You must have that in your, camphor रहता है ना, उसको बोलते हैं कपूर, that you use in your पूजा house. पूजा के समय कपूर जलाते हैं ना. Your grandmother or your mother must know about kapoor. That is camphor. So camphor also directly converts. It does not melt. देखोगे camphor को heat देते हैं, वो आग पकड़ लेता है और gaseous form में change हो जाता है, वो पिघलता नहीं है. So camphor is also one of such examples. Then naphthalene balls are such examples. And you must have seen naphthalene balls. White color के balls होते हैं. And you must have seen your mama or papa keeping the naphthalene balls in the almirah while keeping the clothes. Okay. जैसे गर्म कपड़ों को हम विंटर के बाद अलमीरा में या जो बड़ा बक्सा होता है घर में, उसमें हम अपने कपड़ों को रखते हैं कि अगले साल फिर वी विल यूज इट इन द विंटर, तो उसको नैप्थलीन बॉल्स के साथ रखते हैं, वाइट कलर्ड बॉल्स. दीज बॉल्स प्रिवेंट द डिफरेंट इंसेक्ट्स लाइक कॉकरोचेस एंड अदर इंसेक्ट्स टू कम एंड अटैक द क्लोथ्स. सो दीज बॉल्स यू विल सी आफ्टर 1 year देयर साइज हैज बिकम स्मॉल एंड इवन some of them balls have disappeared also. Maybe you have kept 10 balls inside your trunk, and in the next winter after 1 year when you are opening the trunk, you will see there are only 2 balls, and those balls have also decreased in their size. So where the remaining balls have gone? The remaining balls have converted into gaseous state. Gas में change हो गया, and those have escaped out of the trunk. That means this solid state ka ball has converted into gas. So this process is known as sublimation. This solid naphthalene balls absorbed heat from the surroundings, means from the inside of the trunk. वहाँ काफ़ी गर्मी है, वो heat को absorb करते गया और समय के साथ साथ वो gas में change हो गया. It did not convert into liquid. Gas में directly change हो गया. So this process is known as sublimation, and in this process these substances, ammonium chloride, iodine crystals, camphor, naphthalene balls, they absorb heat and then they convert into gas. Now opposite is also possible. The gas can directly convert into the solid state, and this process is known as deposition. Okay, some books also write solidification, but deposition is a better word. Deposition. Okay, and in this process what happens in deposition? Heat is given out. That means we can write heat is rejected by the gas. You can do this experiment also. This experiment is actually done. Sublimation and deposition is actually demonstrated to the students in the lab by the physics and chemistry teachers using the chemical ammonium chloride. Let me discuss what happens. What do you do now? You take a dish and you have to keep some ammonium chloride salt in it, just like this. This is a white salt actually, and you keep an inverted funnel over this ammonium crystal salt, and you have to heat it from below using the Bunsen burner. So what happens? This ammonium chloride crystals, ये जो रेड वाला है ना, जिसको मैंने रेड से शो किया, ये अमोनियम क्लोराइड का क्रिस्टल्स है, बहुत इजीली अवेलेबल होता है लैब्स में. This ammonium chloride crystals, upon absorbing heat from the Bunsen burner, will convert into vapor. ये vapor में change हो जाएगा. So when this is converted into vapor, this solid ammonium chloride is converting into vapor. This process is known as sublimation. अच्छा, वो तो समझ में आ गया. उसके बाद ये फ्लेम को बंद कर दो. Switch off this flame or remove this flame. So let us remove this flame now. Remove कर दिया फ्लेम को और इसको मैंने ठंडा होने दिया. अच्छा, ठंडा होने के बाद मैं देखूंगा कि इस फनल के ऊपर मैं चेक करूंगा. So what will I see? That on this portion, which portion? This portion of the funnel, I'm drawing a magnified view. On this portion of the funnel, you will see whitish powder which is deposited, or whitish grains of salt deposited. ये कहाँ से आया whitish deposition? ये solid, ये तो solid है. अब ये solid grains है. Solid particles of अमोनियम क्लोराइड आर डिपोजिटेड. एक्चुअली क्या हुआ था, ये जो गैसियस फॉर्म ऑफ अमोनियम क्लोराइड ऊपर जाके स्टिक हो गया, और वहां पर जब वो ठंडा हुआ तो दिस गैसियस फॉर्म ऑफ अमोनियम क्लोराइड अपॉन रिजेक्टिंग हीट, क्योंकि ऊपर में तो ठंडा था, हमने ठंडा किया, वहां तो हमने हीट नहीं दिया, तो अपॉन रिजेक्टिंग हीट दिस गैस कन्वर्टेड इनटू सॉलिड फॉर्म ऑफ अमोनियम क्लोराइड, which we can see as whitish deposition. All right, so this process is known as deposition, where the gas rejected its heat and converted into solid. So this is the entire thing which is summarized in this topic. We can name this figure as change in state. This figure comes very often, too often in your exams. Okay, change in state. इसको अच्छे से लिखना. I think this is clear. Now what is the next thing that we have to do? We have to study the definitions of all these terms. How many terms we have studied? Melting, freezing, vaporization, condensation, sublimation and deposition. So there are 6 definitions which you have to study. Apart from this, there is one more phenomenon, that is evaporation. Evaporation, I think you must have heard about evaporation. हमने यहाँ तो evaporation कहीं लिखा नहीं, तो ये क्या है भाई? क्या evaporation और vaporization same है? No, no my dear. Vaporization जो है इसको हम boiling कहते हैं, boiling, and this is different from evaporation, and we will discuss that in our coming videos, and that is a very, very important and interesting topic, the difference between boiling and evaporation. And there is a similarity also between boiling and evaporation. We will study all those things. As of now, in this video I wanted to discuss this topic, change in state. We will study the definitions of all the topics as well as the differences of boiling and evaporation in the coming lectures. Thanks for watching, and to support me, please support me by subscribing to this channel and pressing the bell icon so that whenever I upload a video you get a notification for that. And thank you for watching this.